She collapsed in the kitchen. 1 second she was there stirring soup, humming a lullaby she used to sing to our daughter. Next her body hit the tiles like a drop marionette limbs. Loose lifeless the sound was sharp final, a dull thud, that cracked something. Deep inside me by the time we reached the hospital she was unconscious. Her chest rose and fell with rhythm of machines wires. Slitheradinto, her arms tubes down her throat theme of artificial life was louder than anything I'd ever heard. Doctor spoke in cautious guesses, their words softened by height coats and weary eyes, but it was a nurse who changed everything. She stopped it in hallway voice, trembling eyes, intense please. She said bring your I didn't understand, but I didn't question it. I found Emma in the waiting room, her small fingers curled into fistsy, held her hand. It was freezing like she left her warm somewhere back in that kitchen when her mother fell together. We walked into the ICU and what we found inside didn't just steal my breath, it erased it. There she was, my wife, Palestal, a fragile body suspended in technology, but it wasn't just her. There was a man beside her holding her hand, whispering her name. Like a broken hymn he up when we entered, and my stomach twisted. I knew him, her coworker, the one she just grabbed lunch with now and then one I'd once shared drink with at her office party, shook hands with Thumon, who now held her hand like she washes to grieve. When his eyes met Imash, stood you're her daughter, he whispered. No, I said, she's mine. They say betrayal is a slow unraveling, a quiet trap that eats at you day by day, but in that moment it exploded instant devastating. The rest of the hour was a blur of static. Nurses asking questions, I couldn't hear Emma pulling at my sleeve asking if her mom would be okay. I kept me voice steady, my expression calm. But inside something vast and cold opened up. We've been married for 15 years. 15 years. Seth shared calendars, morning cafes, bedtime routines. I was the dreamer, the builder, the provider. She was a balancy, organized, nurturing, full of light or dot. I remembered late night conversations, our baby sleeping between us, whispered promises in the dark. Shions held my face in her hands and said I will never lie to you, and I believed her. God help me, I believed her. Signs had been there averted. I sever do work dinners, laughter, that deed when I entered the room, and then last month Emma found a note tucked into her lunchbox, a love note, sweet, private, but not meant for her. She thought it was a joke. I knew better. I didn't confront my wife then, not yet. That night after Emma went to sleep, I sat in the garage staring at the toolbox she'd given me for our 10th anniversary. To my forever, it said, engraved in silver, forever. I realized had a shelf life, so I stopped crying and started planning. I synced Terry Cloud to my laptop, installed a quiet piece of software, undetectable patient. I saw everything, texts, photos, emails she thought were deleted. He called her sunflower, she called him always thought was our word. I tracked her movements. She wasn't going to yoga, she was going to room 409 at the Rosewood Hotel. I took pictures, kept receipts, documented it all. I thought she was planning to leave me for him, but then the toxicology report came in and everything turned upside down. She hadn't collapsed from stress, she was being poisoned, and not by me. I dug deeper. Turns out her sunflower had a past, a messy, violent one, an ex-wife with a restraining order, 2 former girlfriends, dead from accidental ovesses, patterns hidden in plain sight, was dosing her slowly, preparing to raise me and start fresh with our daughter. I don't know if she knew or if she pretended not to at that point. It didn't matter, I had enough to bury them both. I waited quietly, let the hospital run its tests, let the doctors talk. Meanwhile, I met with a lawyer, updated my will, transferred every asset to a trustinder. Emma's name froze our accounts. By the time she woke up 3 days later, I had already filed for full custody. Their restraining order against him, was pending. Divorce papers were ready to sign, but I needed one final moment, a conclusion, something public presses and undeniable. So I invited them both to diner, told her I needed closure. We met at her favorite Italian restaurant, the one where we used to celebrate in Ivazir. Candlelight, white linens, familiar music. She looked tired, he looked smug. I passed a folder across the table before we order. I said, Voice Avenue should see this inside photos. Off them at the hotel, screenshots of their messages, GPS logs, toxicology reports, and finally my petition for full custody. Hefrose, she turned ghost white. Utrito, replace me, I said quietly, looking at her. Then I turned to him, and Utrito, erase her. I know what you did. I added, hospital knows, and by morning the police will too, he stammered. Denise fumbled. She turned on him in an instant. Ridge, shock, betrayal within betrayal. By the time the check came, he was gone. She was crying into a napkin. The divorce moved quickly. I kept the house, the savings, full custody of Emma. She was left with supervised weekends and a lawyer's bill. He vanished like Cowardsdoe. When the light hits them, she writes no letters, begging, explaining, I don't appin them. Emma's doing better. She doesn't ask about them anymore. And I've learned that love without honesty's just a performance, and I stopped applauding betrayal taught me more than any teacher ever could. It taught mesalliance, timing, precision. I don't regret. I regret trusting without proof, but I fixed that with patience, with evidence, and with a final move. It left no room for applause, unlike